Oh yeah, it is a sight to behold, man. We've seen him in the team leagues. We've seen him in the Sparkling Tuna Cups. But can you do it against the Kong from Hong Kong?
That's what we're about to find out as we jump into the series midstream here on Inside and also Out. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our pink Protoss player coming out from the land of Hong Kong. He's, of course, going to be representing the Juggernauts. Everybody wake Calibre, or get your Calibres ready. He is Bistork.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player himself, representing Berserker Esports. It is DIMAGA.
The Patty Slayer, as some have been coming to call him.
Oh, that did happen. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, to be fair, again, I do believe that Patty Mac was a little bit overconfident in that game and may have thrown a little bit.
Get cocky, yeah.
Yeah. But he was looking really solid. Like, there wasn't anything too cheesy or flashy coming out from DIMAGA. It was just some straight up responsive play.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was how he won the first game against Bistork. Either Bistork, known to be a little bit of an enigma, known to be a bit of a cheesy... I mean, there's no way you get signed to the Juggernauts and you're not at least a little bit cheesy.
Oh yeah. Again, we were talking about how Bistork, he's like the mad scientist. You know, he's the brain behind the brawn that are Mio, Micah, Gogo, Joey, and Ender. Bistork being the analyst for the Juggernauts originally, if you remember, going over replays and coming up with plans for team league matches. And Bistork is a very unusual Protoss as well. I don't know if I would necessarily call him insanely cheesy, but like very unorthodox.
He used
like,
to be. Nowadays, not so much.
Yeah. Like he's the kind of guy who would be up for like cannon rushing or going for like these 2-base all-ins.
Yeah, which is why I think really the way to go about beating Bistork, especially in a ZVP, is to just react to whatever he's doing. You know, play reactive. Don't try to set the pace of the game. Instead, just be like a waterbender in a way.
There you go. Yeah, just let the stream flow through you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
There you go. Just let it happen, mate. Let it happen and respond. So far, Bistork has opened up with a Stargate opener. Everything's looking pretty standard here. Everything's looking pretty normal from the side of Bistork. But again, he has been known to switch things up. He has been known to go like Mass Oracle or even going to Phoenix openers as well. He likes to shake up the mold from time to time.
Yeah, we'll see if DIMAGA is going to be able to respond to that mold effectively. You know, does he have... What do you use against mold? Maybe you should just throw the bread away.
Yeah. I mean, you can use steel.
You can. Chop it off.
There you go. Just like steel's hair. I didn't know where you were going with it. Oh, F's in the chat. But speaking of things being a little bit crazy, a little bit different, Bistork does open up with a Void Ray first.
Yeah, just really trying to make sure that DIMAGA isn't going to be able to scout him. I think somehow DIMAGA has struck a little bit of fear into Bistork a little bit, being able to react against whatever he does. So this does make a little bit of sense. But honestly, Bistork isn't doing anything too out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, he's going Void Ray first, which is unusual, and it is going to put DIMAGA a little bit on notice. DIMAGA actually wasn't able to get into the main base, and he wasn't able to scout the opener or the follow-up, so this is his first eyes on the Stargate. Ooh, and Bistork. Do you see what I see?
I see what you see. I see +1 air weapons being thrown down. I am now waiting for that mothership. Oh, wait, that fleet beacon, I should say. And then eventually, that mothership.
Let's go. There's the second Stargate. So we did have an Oracle follow-up from that Void Ray. And again, this is going to throw DIMAGA a little bit off because typically if you're going to go double Stargate Void Ray, you wouldn't be making Oracles, you'd be making Void Rays. So this is going to just, again, throw a curveball at DIMAGA a little bit, and he needs to get some more scanning information. It won't be that difficult. He just needs to check here the natural, and as soon as he sees the Cybercore researching, he will know 100% what's happening.
And so far what Bistork has been showing DIMAGA has been just plausible enough for DIMAGA not to think anything is up. I mean, Void Ray Oracle, not the most standard thing in the world anymore, but you see it often enough that you normally don't bat an eye when you do scout it. But I do appreciate DIMAGA. Never mind, I was going to say playing it safe, but yeah, he's just checking for a third and not quite confirming that research.
Yeah, exactly. He just checks the third, and this is where I'm worried because we have a Roach run, we have Roach speed on the way. I think he believes it's going to be a Twilight Council follow-up, possibly even Glaive Adepts. And again, Roach is going to be amazing against Glaive Adepts. They're going to be amazing against even Blink Stalkers. But this is the first sign. Second Void Ray shows itself. This is real weird, and DIMAGA needs to start making more Queens because right now he has 7, which is normal, but not enough to deal with, again, more Void Rays.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is enough of a tell for DIMAGA to know, oh, this is double Stargate. But I'm hoping it's enough of a tell for him to once again go around and check. He does see a couple more Void Rays.
Yeah.
And I think he... yep, there we go. More Queens are in production. He is going for that infestation pit for eventual Vipers, I imagine.
Yes.
DIMAGA knows.
Exactly.
This is the reactive DIMAGA we were talking about.
Yeah, as soon as he scouted and he saw the third and fourth Void Ray, immediately he starts Queen production. He knows that right now it's a little bit too late to get into any kind of tech. Queens are the best that he can hope for right now. Queens and Spores. Spores are being thrown down. One in the main. There's only one at the natural, and I'm a little bit concerned. Infestation Bit will mean that he can go straight into Infestors for, oh my god, Microbial Shroud, or he can go straight into Hive for Vipers.
Man, how often do you see Microbial Shroud? It even took you a second to remember the name of that spell.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty much all the right boxes here for DIMAGA. He's even getting... I don't remember the name of that upgrade, but he's getting energy upgrades for those infestors as well, so that once they pop out, pathogen glands! Is that not the speed upgrade for Hydralis?
No, that's muscular.
That's hydraulic muscles, right? Wait.
Muscular augments.
Yeah. Yes.
The hydraulic press. Let's go. Oh boy. But yeah, I mean, again, this is a surefire way to actually make use of all these Queens, and because he knows how quickly Bistork is rushing into Skytos, he knows that there isn't going to be any splash damage to support yet. We don't have any Storm, we don't have any Disruptors, we don't have any Colossus, so Infestors will come into play. Microbial Shroud will be useful for at least the early mid game.
Yeah. Even he's getting the Hive right now as well, so combining them with a couple of Vipers will be absolutely key for DIMAGA. Even threw down the Hydra then when he had a couple of extra resources to spare, so he's really just making sure he has the most effective anti-Skytoss army possible. Whether or not Bistork will give him the time to build that, he probably will, as he just threw down his 4th base.
Exactly. It's interesting that we are opting to go into Hydras. It kind of makes sense because the Hydra then does complete, I believe, 50% faster than Aspire. So reactively, Hydras are a really good response if you kind of scout something a little bit late. We do see another Fungal. One Void Ray went down earlier, and it looks like we're going to lose another 2.
Just like so. Even an Oracle goes down, that's going to really limit the revelations available right now, the detection right now available to Bistork.
Honestly, great pickoffs already here, just shutting down that Void Ray count. We do have a lot of carriers. We have 5 carriers in total, and that is a terrifying thought. But with good enough Queens, with good enough Transfusers specifically, we can out DPS this amount of Interceptors. Yeah,
you get to a point where you need to spend a little bit of time setting it up. You need to make sure you do have the perfect positions for those Microbial Shrouds, for your Queens, for your Hydras as well, but once you nail that, you pretty much can just A-move your upgraded Hydras to take out any Interceptors and then eventually carriers the Protoss players thrown your way. These Hydralists of DIMAGA, not quite there yet, but Getting there, getting there.
I mean, all the upgrades are on the way. We already have +2 range. We only have 6 carriers, which again, this can be dealt with by this amount of anti-air, but things are going to start getting more difficult as the carrier count does rise. We do have 3 more carriers coming out, and we're getting close to almost like critical mass of carriers, where the point where there won't be enough DPS from Hydras or Queens. But for the time being, like, this can be dealt with.
These are some pretty nice fungals being thrown down by DIMAGA. He doesn't have a neural parasite just yet, but he may not even need it. I mean, the microbial shroud is really helping out. This queen refuses to die. That's being targeted. There are so many transfuses, and honestly, it's barely taking any damage either. There are no interceptors left for these carriers. One of them did just pop out, and I think DIMAGA might have just... I mean... He might have just done it, but shield batteries are scary, man.
Shield batteries are scary, but what are they going to heal? There is no DPS remaining here. This was the timing to hit. Again, we only just now got into 9 carriers, and the timing was crisp here from DIMAGA. If the carrier count got any higher, this would not have worked. The base has been broken. Disruptors and Colossi are coming out now, but again, this is all too late for Bistork.
Too little, way too late. I'm just in awe of these microbial shrouds.
Yeah.
Again, another queen that refuses to die.
Up!
But here comes some storms! No, wait, there's no storm yet. There's a purification nova that does land on a decent chunk of the Hydralisk. Really good feedbacks on some of these queens and a couple of these infestors as well, but that's barely gonna be enough. Another good purification nova, but that was the last disruptor of Bistork taken out.
Mate, and look at that. The microbial shots have been so methodical here for DIMAGA as he leapfrogs his way forward here. He's been so careful. He hasn't been wasting any energy on fungals. He knows how important the microbial shrouds are. It looks like DIMAGA is running out of steam, but he took down the 4th base. He took down a carrier. He resets the interceptor count. Is this enough damage?
I'm gonna say so, as long as he doesn't lose too much of his army here, which he's gonna... Yeah, he's going to be losing this army if he doesn't forfeit.
The infestors need to leave. The infestors need to leave. They can't stick around, Puppy.
Borrow at least, Puppy!
Oh, God.
No! They moved an inch, and I thought they were going to leave, but... Okay. They're retreating.
Yeah, they are retreating. So at least we're keeping our spellcasters alive. We do have a Spire finishing up as well. The economy of Bistork has been crippled, but he has kept the majority of his carriers alive. He only lost 1, I believe. Looking at the units lost tab. Yes, only 1 carrier died. And DIMAGA ran out of steam a little bit too soon, a little bit too quickly there. Why? It was those disruptors. We saw 2 very juicy purifications. If it wasn't for that, DIMAGA 100% would have broken the 3rd.
Yeah, and that really would have been the entire economy forfeit here for Bistork. But he does have enough of an economy to keep going to remake those interceptors and slowly but surely amass a bit of a disruptor count. This Colossus, man, he just wants to feel included. But he's not doing anything.
It's like, I'm doing work, Copium. Please pay me.
I'm helping!
Oh my god. At the same time, another Roach Ravager army has been made, and this is getting a little bit scary because now we have 9 carriers. This is kind of critical mass here, especially with supporting disruptors and roaches. This army for DIMAGA has a bit of a time limit on it. He does outposition the army of Bistork, and he picks up a couple of cannons, a couple of shield batteries. The economy of DIMAGA is still looking quite good, but
that's a one-shot on that Archon. There's some very well upgraded roaches here for DIMAGA. I think DIMAGA knows it as well, that this army does have a bit of a timer on it, so he's switching gears slightly, getting Neural Parasite for his infestors. I would like to see a couple of Vipers out, though.
I really would as well. I think Vipers would be a game changer, especially because we do have a couple of High Templars, so it would be a dance between who can abduct or who can feedback first, don't get me wrong. And DIMAGA knows that he has to get rid of these roaches. He's going for a couple of round buys. This is all to buy time. Oh my god, but another Nova connects.
One of the juiciest Novas I have ever seen as well. DIMAGA, his attention was elsewhere, and at least he was able to get rid of those roaches. But they also didn't really do much.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have a couple of reinforcing charges coming in as well. I mean, again, DIMAGA is only planning to keep his opponent busy, to keep him back at home. We do have a couple more upgrades on the way. We do have +1 carapace for the flyer carapace even, so we can transition into those corruptors.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we can really get that late game versus Skytoss army available. available for him. Once again, he needs to get rid of some supply, but he just keeps remaking Hydras and Roaches.
Yeah, and you know what? He's actually only attacking a couple of interceptors at a time, or a couple of carriers have their interceptors out at a time. So decent trade here for DIMAGA. He's trying to distract this army as more Novas go up, and oh, they do not find connections. He's distracting for these Roaches to clean up and try and deny this base.
Yeah, and the Roaches unfortunately do get battered away for now. Not that many Hydras left, and there's still plenty, and I do mean plenty, of Purification Novas available for Bistork. A couple of High Templar did get picked out, they get picked off, but we're running out of army supply here.
I was wondering, where were the Infestors? The Infestors finally coming in after the majority of these Hydras go down. Meanwhile, we have a recall. This counterattack has forced a reaction. This is exactly what DIMAGA needed.
Yeah, and does DIMAGA have enough back at home to clear out the rest of the forces that weren't recalled? Apparently not. Apparently not.
Yeah, he's still making 15 more Hydras, going for another bit of a Roach Hydra counterattack again, pulling the army of Bistork over to the right-hand side. Bistork actually lost 10 probes. His worker count is looking quite sparse.
Yeah, it's 55 versus 76 right now. DIMAGA with the much higher income, but Bistork still with a very scary army. Microbial Shrouds once again helping out against the carriers. Not so much against the Disruptors, as every single Infestor and Hydra gets taken out. Finally, a couple of Vipers are being made, but I fear that this is a little too late.
Yeah, I mean, DIMAGA did kill every single Disruptor and the Colossus, so, I mean, that was a great fight in that respect, but lost everything else. All the Hydras and the Carriers, there is still no answer to them. That also cost DIMAGA every single Infestor.
Yeah, and it's not that much larva here for him to work with. A couple of Vipers do pop out, and at the very least he was able to keep them alive. But again, he needs a little bit of time to rebuild his army that can really stand toe-to-toe against his carrier count. And that's time that Bistork is not at all affording DIMAGA.
Yeah, exactly. First base goes down, the second base will go down as well. DIMAGA trying to keep all these drones alive as they actually somehow manage to walk past some Archons. So these drones are insanely lucky. Would you see DIMAGA remaxing here? The army supplies are similar. Finally, the Yoinks are how many Vipers do we have? Too many, Papi. Oh my god.
We have more Vipers than Hydras. Jeez. That is going to be that. GG is called. Bistork will take game number 2, tying us up sideways 1-1.
GG, well played. We are indeed going into our ace match. My god, I mean, at least we finally did see our Vipers, don't get me wrong, but alas, too many and a little bit too little too late. Again, DIMAGA was strongest when he was hitting his first timing with his Hydras and with his Infestors, and again, credit where credit's due, he almost pulled it off. He barely didn't, because of those Disruptors, because of those Novas.
Yeah. Was it too little, too late, too much? That's pretty much how I described this Vipers at the end there. Too little, too late, too much. Too early, too much. Wait,
that's good.
We'll refine that, but yeah, like you said, I guess that game really does highlight how much of a timer the Zerg player is on when going for that army composition, especially against Skytoss like that. There were definitely a couple of points where I felt like if DIMAGA transitioned a little bit earlier, he may have been able to continue fighting the Skytoss army toe-to-toe, but again, he was definitely feeling a little bit pressured to continue to make more Hydras and more Roaches to just, try to keep up that pressure. Unfortunately, Bistork didn't pop.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things where I agree. I do think maybe a faster transition into Corruptors would have been a little bit better. It's always a hard call to make though, because they do take longer to produce, and I know there was a lot of pressure on DIMAGA after that first failed push, because Bistork was going to counterattack soon, and the reason why he didn't was because of the Hydras, was because of the Roach Rumbais, right? So they had their own value as well, just not so much in that main fight.
Oh,
as I believe we are on the wrong server.
Oh, I see.
Yes, we will be remaking.
We were on the Singapore server, and this map that we're now going to be remaking.
Yeah, we're just gonna make sure that the server is correct here for our 2 players. I believe Bistork may have had a ping advantage in this. No, sorry, no. Actually, DIMAGA had a ping advantage in game number 2. Interesting. Oh boy. As we're going to be getting ready for the ace match. Meanwhile, Yaku, we actually have a couple of other updates in the bracket.
We do. Our upper semifinal is already available to us. Well, not available to us because we still have to cast this series, but yeah, we already have the players. Yeah, we already have the players set up. Demi did take out Azura 2-0 and will soon be facing off against 3 Point in a bit of a ZVZ, so I probably shouldn't have thrown out all of my ZVZ notes from earlier.
Oh boy, I mean, we'll get around to that straight after this series. Of course, the winner of this series moves on to face Spear, so we already have all of our next matchups kind of lined up for us.
Indeed we do. Nice and, yeah. Nice and streamlined how this bracket today has been set up. But speaking of streams and lines and waterfalls, because waterfalls come from streams, we are on Waterfall. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our pink Protoss player coming out from the land of Hong Kong. He's a man of many names. He is known as the strategist of the Juggernauts because he is representing the Juggernauts. Also known as Kong from Hong Kong, he is a Bistork.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Waterfall, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player himself representing Berserker Esports going for the 12 pool. It is DIMAGA.
I like the debate in the chat
Yeah.
here. Do Colossus ever get depressed?
Can they get
I
depressed?
would.
Oh my god.
Look, you're sitting up there, up in the tower, for so
Lonely?
long.
Yeah.
It gets lonely, you know.
Yeah.
You're the only one shooting.
Yeah. And you kill everything,
You
know?
You do. You just wanna spread joy and love to the world, but instead you're just killing everything.
You know what you're doing actually? The Colossus is actually just trying to hug everyone. Just trying to give these big hugs, but he doesn't have any arms, so he uses the lasers instead, and he just kills everything he touches.
Yeah.
Smooch.
It's that, man.
Yeah, he just wants hugs, Papi. He just wants hugs. Oh god. But speaking of hugs, DIMAGA did open up with a 12 pool, so we already have links coming across the map. Again, 12 pools aren't all ins. You know, they can transition into a macro game. We just have a commitment into usually 10 links. We actually only have 6 here for DIMAGA, so a very low committed 12 pool.
Yeah, the more economic focused variant. This, at the very least, will force the Bistork to dance around, you know, trying to make sure that he is able to attack these links, but also at the same time making sure he never leaves a hole open in his wall. DIMAGA has decided with the popping out of that second zealot that he will not continue to commit to this. He will instead go back home, focus on droning up.
Yeah, so a couple of things happened, right? Bistork went for a probe scout. The probe got killed, but Bistork confirmed the 12 pool, so he was able to react and respond and get his zealot out and wall off. I'm sure DIMAGA was hoping for an overreaction, a little bit of something more, maybe a second pylon, maybe just, again, a little bit more chaos here from Bistork. So because of that, DIMAGA, I don't think really dealt too much damage with this 12 pool, and because of the counterattack, is forced to make more links here.
Yeah, he needs to do something with his opening, at the very least, try to contain his opponent, and also at the very least try to defend against the zealots that were thrown across the map for that counterattack you were talking about.
Yeah, and again, this variation of 12 pool is really interesting from DIMAGA because he actually prioritized gas really quickly, whereas usually after a 12 pool you get a faster third base. So because of this, link speed is going to finish up pretty quickly.
I'm sensing a Nidus.
I mean, I'm sensing a bit of a link flood here. I mean, the links, they already get us around here on 2 of these adepts. Nicely done. 2 adepts do go down immediately, only for 3 drones.
And it does put DIMAGA behind by a little bit, but not by that much. I mean, it's pretty easy for DIMAGA to recover from, especially if he is going for that link flood.
Yeah, he's droning up behind this, but he does smell weakness here. The Stalker doesn't have the support of the shield battery yet, so there's potential. There's a world where this Stalker could fall before the shield battery finishes.
Well, does he smell weakness, or does he smell DTs? If the Dark Shrine did just get thrown down here by Bistork. Nice re-wall coming out from Bistork once again, but there are enough lings here that I think at least one gateway should go down.
Yeah, I mean, this gateway here to the right-hand side is getting very low. Bistork can manually target that building with that shield battery to keep it alive, but he's not doing so. Oh, there we go.
He doesn't want to waste his shield battery energy. He does not want to pop his... He does not want to pop his battery overcharge a little bit too soon either. But the Cybercore will go down, and that's actually pretty huge for Bistork right now. He can only create either Zealots or DTs for the time being. Well, I say that's significant, but then again, he does have DTs.
Exactly. The Dark Shrine is going to finish up here. We did have a DT opener. DIMAGA, looking at his vision, he hasn't been able to see the main base yet, so he's in the dark right now. He knows it's not a Stargate, otherwise it would have already been an Oracle, but what exactly is it? He doesn't know. He has his lings waiting outside the main base to try and catch a glimpse of the potential prism.
And there's only one starter that can really prevent that. For now, no other form of anti-air. Overload's getting a little bit low. It doesn't have speed. It doesn't have speed, but DIMAGA is on top of the Warp Prism at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. DIMAGA does end up running across that prism. Roaches are on the way. We have safety spores in the main and the natural, not at the third, so the DTs could technically get a kill on this third base, but they don't go for it. They go straight into the natural.
Yeah, but there are already defenses waiting for them. Immediately he turns around with those DTs. Lair has just finished up, and immediately we see an Overseer being produced.
Yeah, Overseer's on the way for the extra detection. This third base is under threat, don't get me wrong, but the Overseer just finished up. DIMAGA should be able to clean all of this up.
Yeah, once the Overlord gets in position, there we go. Just wait for that. And now I have to say, originally it felt like DIMAGA's opening didn't really pay for itself just yet, but I feel like it's kind of the opposite. Bistork's response to that opening, going for the Dark Shrine, hasn't really been able to pay for itself yet either.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give props to DIMAGA as well with his ling speed timing, just because with that excess amount of lings, which he was able to drone up behind, he did actually force a reaction. He did actually deal some damage here to the wall and to how the resources were being invested for Bistork. So he was able to still make something of it as we are transitioning into the mid game. The DT drop hasn't been able to do anything, so we have to go into Archons from here. Archons, though, they can make up for this. They can hunt down, you know, a couple of Overlords, a couple of units here and there.
That's exactly what they're planning to do. But DIMAGA is guarding his Overlords here and there, here and there. Yeah. Not all of them, but you know, here and there.
Exactly. We do see the rest of the Overlords actually turning around and coming back home. So DIMAGA is fully aware that they are vulnerable right now, and Bistork is transitioning into a 2-base all-in because we have 8 gates, Blink, and Immortal production.
And a Robo Bay just to get a couple of disruptors for these roaches as well.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Bistork, he has a lot of resources that we go. He is, in fact, going to go for that third base. This third is late, though. DIMAGA does get eyes on it, and we'll see how much Bistork is actually going to make use of it. He actually also techs into robotic space, so it looks like he still plans to invest into the future, even a Forge.
Huh. Alright, I was gonna say, you know, maybe he's just getting this base to mine from it, you know? And I realize how stupid that sounds.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're right. I think he is getting the base just to mine from it. That's...
Yeah.
Hey, you're spot on, mate.
That's exactly what he's doing, yeah.
Yaku, you okay, buddy? Are you with me?
I think the raw pork I ate is finally catching up to me.
Oh no. You have a massive Roach counterattack here, and timing with Roach speed here. He dives on top of every single one of these Immortals before there's too much of a buffer at all. This is going to cost DIMAGA a lot of these Roaches, but again, it's worth it for resetting that Immortal count.
Yeah, Roaches are cheap, man. Immortals, not so much. Neither are Archons, funnily enough.
Yeah, exactly, especially when the Protoss player only has a single robot for production. Now we have Disruptors coming out, which will help, don't get me wrong, but DIMAGA is working on the next wave. I think we are content with the drone count that we have. We have more Roaches on the way, plus 2 range as well. DIMAGA, I'm curious if he's going to throw down another base or just keep hammering down that R key.
Yeah, 54 workers, that's nowhere near the end game number of drones that you want as a Zerg player, but it's more than enough if you're just going to 3-base all in it. The Disruptor is exposed, but the Nova still lands. That is not going to be enough, however, for Bistork, because we just have an insane army supply advantage here for DIMAGA. The Biles do land on buildings, on a couple of these Stalkers as well, and I do not see an easy way for Bistork to stem the tide of roaches that DIMAGA's got.
Yeah, exactly. This third base is 100% going to go down, and there's nothing to stop him from pushing out any further. Unfortunately, after the first Disruptor, we had an Observer, not a second Disruptor, so Bistork just doesn't have any rover units to defend at all whatsoever. He works in a handful of Stalkers, which are great. He can defend on 2 bases, but DIMAGA takes a 4th.
Man, here I thought Bistork was getting that third base just to mine from it. Turns out he was getting it just to die.
Yaku, you okay, buddy? Oh boy. Welcome back, Yaku. Welcome back. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. He is looking to just die as he does try and retake that third base, but DIMAGA is so far ahead. Look at the suit, papi, because today it doesn't lie.
That it does not. It's 166 overall supply versus 64. That's a lot higher for the Zerg player.
Oh boy, it really is. Bistork is going to push out into the middle of the map with what meager units he has. He has 8 Stalkers and 2 Disruptors right now, and he's going to be able to clear up some of this creep. You know, he's going to be able to push this back a little bit, but we're on Waterfall, you know, the smallest map in the entire map pool. DIMAGA, he's basically remaxed at this point. He's ready to go. He could take another Nova to the face, and it won't even matter.
Ooh, and he's not even going to take that Nova to the face because he kills the Disruptors before the Novas can even land. Not the best use of the force field there, but I mean, Bistork was cut out in the middle of the map. GG is called. DIMAGA takes that series 2-1 and will be advancing to those semifinals where he will face Spear. Very nicely done here.
Very nicely done. GG, well played. DIMAGA showing his a little bit of cheese, a little bit here in Waterfall. It was a 12 pool opener, but again, it didn't really rely on that 12 pool. It relied on the follow-up instead, and he was just had such a great response here to the opener of Bistork. The DTs, again, they didn't really do anything. Neither did the Archons.
Yeah, DIMAGA really showing off that more aggressive, more active style that I don't normally expect to see from him in a ZVP. I would expect that out of a player like Bly or something like that, but yeah, it's really nice to see DIMAGA is able to switch up his styles, do either or whenever he needs to.
Mm-hmm.